Bon the Dancing Rabbit. Bon the Dancing Rabbit serves as the central antagonist, originally designed as a friendly blue rabbit mascot for Bon's Burgers in the early 1970s. This animatronic was created by Rosemary Walten and built by technician Susan Woodings. The robot was meant to entertain children with its dancing performances, complete with a red bow tie and cheerful appearance. However, Bon's story takes a sinister turn when a malevolent spirit, also called Bon, possesses the animatronic shortly after the restaurant's opening in June 1974. This possession transforms the once innocent entertainment robot into a murderous machine. The possessed Bon systematically hunts down and kills several people connected to the restaurant, including Susan Woodings, Charles Brooke, and even Rosemary Walten herself. Each victim is grotesquely stuffed into other animatronics after their murder. The killings force Bon's Burgers to close permanently, and the damaged animatronic is moved to a storage facility where it continues its deadly rampage over the years. The spirit-controlling Bon appears to have a particular obsession with Sophie Walten, Jack Walton's daughter, making the animatronic a persistent threat that haunts the family's tragic legacy. Over time, the once pristine blue rabbit becomes increasingly damaged and disturbing, with exposed metal parts and a more sinister appearance reflecting the evil that now inhabits it. Boozoo. Boozoo is one of the 4 original showstopper animatronics, designed as a magician-themed performer for the Bon's Burgers restaurant chain. Originally appearing as a dapper entertainer with brown hair, a handlebar mustache, black top hat, red jacket, and white gloves, Boozoo was created alongside his fellow performers to provide family-friendly entertainment. Following Charles Brooks' murder and possession of the animatronic, Boozoo became a vessel for the trapped spirit of the computer supervisor. The once jovial magician now housed the soul of a man who had been brutally killed and stuffed inside the mechanical body, creating another tortured existence within the restaurant's dark legacy. After being moved to the K9 storage facility as part of the failed relocate project, years of neglect left Boozoo severely damaged, with torn clothing, exposed metal casing, and a broken mouth. The spirit of Charles Brooke remains trapped inside, unable to remember his own face due to the trauma of death and possession. Throughout the story, Boozoo appears in various states of decay, often displaying disturbing imagery like bloodshot eyes and missing facial features. His presence serves as a haunting reminder of the innocent victims caught up in the restaurant's tragic history, representing how the cheerful entertainment machines became vessels for the souls of those brutally murdered. Banny the Bunny. Banny the Bunny is one of the 4 showstopper animatronics originally created for Bon's Burgers in the early 1970s. Designed by Rosemary Walten and built by lead technician Susan Woodings, Banny appeared as a purple humanoid rabbit with white chest and belly areas, turquoise eyes, and a pink bow. Ironically, she was Rosemary's least favorite design but Susan's personal favorite, being the first animatronic built for the restaurant collaboration. Following the tragic events at the restaurant, Banny transformed from an innocent children's entertainer into something far more sinister. The purple rabbit became a haunted vessel, her cheerful appearance masking the tortured soul trapped within her mechanical frame. Her once bright turquoise eyes now reflect the anguish of her supernatural inhabitant. Over time at the K9 storage facility, Banny deteriorated significantly, with exposed endoskeleton parts visible through tears in her fabric covering. The animatronic's damaged state mirrors the psychological trauma of the spirit within. Banny occasionally exhibits strange behaviors, moving independently and attempting to communicate through various technological means like arcade games. Her broken form serves as a tragic reminder of how the restaurant's innocent mascots became cursed monuments to violence, forever changed from their original purpose of bringing joy to children. Billy the Clown. Billy the Clown is a special animatronic created for Bon's Burgers, designed specifically for birthday parties rather than regular performances with the main showstopper band. Billy appears as a classic clown with a white face, permanent crescent smile, and empty black eye sockets. He wears a green jumpsuit with a yellow coat featuring red frills, red gloves, and boots, and has a red clown wig. Most notably, Billy has a cassette tape player built into his stomach. Billy arrived at the restaurant on July 11, 1974, and was scheduled to perform at a birthday party for the daughter of one of the company associates. However, his story takes a dark turn during the restaurant's troubled final weeks. After Bon's Burgers closed permanently, Billy was moved to the K9 storage facility along with the other animatronics. In July 1978, technician Ashley Parks discovered Billy in the facility's back doors area and found a mysterious cassette tape. When she played the tape using Billy's built-in player, it started as a cheerful birthday song but quickly turned sinister, listing the names of missing employees connected to the restaurant. This discovery led to Ashley being brutally murdered by the possessed Bon animatronic, and her body was stuffed inside Billy. Her spirit now possesses the clown animatronic, making Billy another tragic vessel for the innocent victims of the restaurant's horrific legacy. Susan Woodings. Susan Woodings served as both the lead technician for Bunny Smiles Incorporated and technical supervisor for Cyberfun Tech, making her a crucial figure in the creation of the Bon's Burgers animatronic. Born in Ireland in 1939, Susan moved to America as a teenager and eventually became skilled in mechanical work, befriending Charles Brooke, who would become her close colleague. She was instrumental in building almost all of the showstopper animatronics, with Banny being her personal favorite creation. Susan's tragic fate began on June 30th, 1974, when she stayed late at Bon's Burgers to close up after a birthday party. Working alone in the backstage area, she was lured toward the Bon animatronic by a falling toolbox. The possessed robot brutally attacked her, breaking her neck and mutilating her face with its sharp metal hands before stuffing her body inside the Banny animatronic. After death, Susan's spirit became trapped within Banny, existing in a nightmarish purgatory called Wonderland, where the malevolent spirit, Bon, tried to convince her to accept her fate. Her soul remains bound to the purple rabbit animatronic, and years later she attempts to communicate with Sophie Walten through various means, desperately trying to reveal the truth about what happened at the restaurant and seeking help to escape her eternal imprisonment. Jack Walten. Jack Walten serves as the central missing figure whose disappearance sets the entire tragic story in motion. Born in Chile in 1932, Jack moved to America and co-founded Bunny Smiles Incorporated with his friend Felix Kranken in the early 1960s. Together, they created the Bon's Burgers restaurant chain, which used advanced animatronic technology to entertain children. Jack was a hardworking businessman who handled the financial side of the company, while his wife Rosemary designed the characters. Jack's life took a devastating turn on May 2, 1974, when he asked Felix to pick up his two youngest children, Ed and Molly, from a school party. Felix, who had been drinking heavily after his wife left him, crashed the car and killed both children. In a panic, Felix buried their bodies and lied about what happened. When Jack discovered the truth, he was consumed with rage and grief. On June 11, 1974, just 2 weeks before Bon's Burgers was set to open, Jack mysteriously disappeared under unknown circumstances. His fate remains unclear, though he appears to communicate through various analog tapes and recordings, suggesting he may have died and become another spirit trapped in the restaurant's dark legacy. His disappearance haunts his surviving daughter Sophie and continues to influence the supernatural events surrounding the franchise. Rosemary Walten. Rosemary Peony Walten was the wife of Jack Walten and the head artist for Bunny Smiles Incorporated, responsible for designing all of the showstopper characters. Born in 1934, she married Jack in 1959 and had 3 children, Sophie, Ed, and Molly. Rosemary was described as caring but intimidating when necessary, and she had a successful career creating art for the family restaurant business. Her life became a nightmare on May 2, 1974, when her 2 youngest children were killed in a car crash caused by Felix Kranken's drunk driving. The tragedy sent Rosemary into a deep depression that worsened when her husband Jack mysteriously disappeared on June 11th. Desperate to find him, she visited Bon's Burgers daily, asking if anyone had seen Jack, leading to her being fired from the company. On July 20th, 1974, Rosemary was lured into the restaurant's backstage area by a voice claiming to know Jack's whereabouts. Instead, she encountered the possessed Bon animatronic, which brutally murdered her by dismembering her body, gouging out her eyes, and decapitating her. Her remains were then stuffed into the Shaw animatronic. After death, Rosemary's spirit became trapped within Shaw, joining the other victims in their supernatural torment. She continues to communicate through various analog recordings, desperately trying to reach her surviving daughter Sophie and reveal the truth about what happened. Brian Stells. Brian Stells was a young facility caretaker who became the final known victim of the possessed Bon animatronic. Born in 1962, Brian developed an early interest in technology and filmmaking as a child. After struggling to make ends meet with low-paying jobs writing books and games, he decided to seek better employment and joined Bunny Smiles Incorporated based on a friend's recommendation. By 1982, Brian was ready to work as a caretaker at the K9 storage facility where the damaged animatronics had been stored since the restaurant's closure. On October 10th, 1982, during his very first day on the job, Brian arrived at the remote facility in St. Juana's Forest to perform diagnostics on the animatronics. Company policy required him to record his progress, which captured his final moments alive. While testing the severely damaged Bon animatronic, Brian noticed the left arm was broken. Suddenly, Bon began moving on its own, waving its limbs and laughing maniacally. The possessed robot's facial recognition system mistakenly identified Brian as Sophie Walten, triggering its murderous programming. Brian fled into the forest, but despite his speed, Bon eventually caught up to him. The animatronic brutally killed Brian, tearing off his arm and mutilating his head. Unlike other victims, Brian's spirit didn't linger long in the supernatural realm, eventually fading away and finding peace.